Everyone, thanks so much for joining us. My name is Gabe Pyle, Program Director for the Industrial and Innovative Design Program here at the International Center for Creativity, and I am thrilled to bring you another interview with a grad. This one being Micah Heanssler. Micah was a classmate, effectively. Classmate when I went through school. I stuck around. He went on to do great things, and I'm excited to hear about his experience and what insights he might have for current and future students. So, Micah, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, let's jump into it with the first question. We want to know a little bit more about you. Could you tell us more about yourself, what year you graduated, and what you do now?
Yeah, so my name's Micah Heanssler. I graduated in the class of 2014. So yes, Gabe and I did have a short bit of time where we overlapped as classmates, and then he went on to tell me exactly what to do to then pass the class. So it was fantastic. During that time, I really enjoyed product development and the product side of things out of the different sections that we studied. Graduated from the class again in 2014 and moved right next door to a bit of a temp job looking at bag design. So my senior capstone project was on a backpack for the skiing industry, and a marketing and design firm next door had a marketing strategy that they wanted to sell a product in, and they didn't know what that product was. So I helped them over the next year kind of develop what the product was, what were the add-ons for the product, how could they grow this, both internally and then also looking at external manufacturing. Once I was done with there, I then moved over to a job at Bath Iron Works up in Maine, which is where I am originally from. And I was a structural designer there for 3 years. Learned a lot about large corporations, learned that there are definitely pros and cons to working for, again, small startups and also large companies. After that, I then moved back to Ohio, where I worked for Crowworks, which is a local furniture manufacturer, as their industrial designer on staff. Did that for about 2 years, and then COVID hit. And unfortunately, one of the largest industries to be impacted by COVID was the restaurant industry, which is we were heavily a part of. So I left that position and was looking around for other things in the area. And my current job, which is at Vertical Supply Group, popped up. They are a life safety and PPE company for anything in the vertical work and play. So on the vertical play, we manufacture and develop and sell products for rock climbers, spelunkers, canyoneers. And the vertical work, obviously, you have people such as fire and rescue, military, you have people working on oil refineries, anyone that's going to be elevated off from their platform at height, such as Arbor. We create all the products that they need, and then we also sell them to these individuals.
From bag design to structural design to furniture manufacture to now vertical supply, that is a wide range of things, that a wide range of industries really within the product world. And just from our conversations before and leading up into this interview, it sounds like you really, really love what you do in the vertical play and vertical work world.
Yes, definitely. I really do. I think that was one thing that was really helpful for me as I was going through this. It's rare that you're going to get that dream job or the job that you enjoy right out of school. And you may never get that. I think that's, something that's realistic. At the end of the day, it's a job. It's not called play. So how can you make the best of that situation you're in? My first couple of jobs out of school, I wasn't really in love with. It wasn't something that I really had a passion for. I've always been into like the sporting goods and outdoor world, along with, again, products. So combining those two, is really what I wanted to focus on, and looking at every step along the way is getting closer to that. So the bag job, which was temp, it was great. I learned a lot. I also failed a lot in that. And then getting the job at Bath Iron Works was realistically a paycheck at that point. I did learn a lot about the industry, about marine design, and about, again, really dealing is, one small part of a large machine. I think that helped me to understand business a lot better. And then going off to Crowworks, that was like my first glimpse into that medium-sized company where things are moving fast. You're able to impact a lot. And then also to be able to just develop lots of products that you have a big influence on, which is what I really enjoyed. And I wanted to emulate a lot of that in my next job past then. And that's when I found Vertical Supply Group.
Yeah. So you mentioned, and this is a job that you love. Is it something that you love because you love vertical play, vertical work? You mentioned several play activities and several work activities. Do you participate in any of these?
Yeah, so I do. It's not what I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
So I'm not a rock climber. I think everyone that always comes and works here says, "Oh, I love rock climbing." And then once we start working, we're like, "Actually, I don't really like it. I enjoy it."
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. You don't have to love what you're doing. I love the industry adjacent to it. So the rock climbing industry, the stores that we sell into are the stores that I'm buying my bikes from. So I'm big into bike and ski. Those are the two industries that, I really am passionate about, and that's what I do in my spare time. So to be able to be in that parallel industry,
Yeah.
outdoor sporting goods as a whole is really exciting. There's a lot of the same like-minded individuals. And then also just the way we're creating products is really trying to resolve the same issues as these other industries that I'm a part of. I also like the fact that I'm not in the industry that I'm so passionate about personally, because I don't think I'll ever get burned out about it. I'm not building bikes every single day. So I'm, get to go home and I go ride my bike and I'm not thinking about work. So that's just a little something that I've noticed as I go on. People have asked me, well, do you want to get into the ski industry or the bike industry? I don't really have, like this urge to really try to get into it. I'm very happy where I am because there is a little bit of a separation of work and play there for me.
Yeah. Do you think if someone had asked you when you were graduating, would you want to get a job in the ski or bike industry? Would your answer be the same?
No, 100% I would have said, I want to get into that industry. I will sell you my kidney, whatever you need. Here's my portfolio and $100 bill. Please get me, a job at one of these companies. And, I think it was good to learn some of this other stuff before hopping into it. Also, you don't know what you don't know when you come out of school, and you talk to so many people and you're learning so much, and you're just trying to understand your place in society and what it means to be a functioning adult and how to work 40 hours a work week and, the red tape and HR and all that stuff. That for me, giving myself a couple years to kind of figure those things out before I getting into the industry that I truly enjoy and appreciate, definitely allowed me to kind of focus, to come in with a more pointed approach to be more successful.
So it sounds like if a student doesn't get their dream job right out of the gates, it might not be the worst thing in the world.
It's definitely not. I know it sucks during that time, and I recognize that, and I will commiserate with you, but that's not the end of the day, right? Like nowadays, people work 3 to 5 years at a job and move on, right? Like that is the norm. We don't have, these infrastructures put in place to keep someone there at 40 years, like our parents or our grandparents. And that's okay. And that's great. So put in a couple years, see if you like it, start to understand the business that you're a part of. And then if you say, nah, I'm out, then you can move on. And it's totally fine. I love what I do because of the breadth of work that we're creating here, and the type of products. So for example, I can go from working on a harness in the morning for someone to wear, to a piece of metal good, to a helmet, to a walkie-talkie, all in the same day. I mean, there's just so many products you can imagine that you want to utilize. It's really exciting.
Are there any projects that you are working on currently or have worked on recently that you'd be able to tell us about or show us anything?
So I got a couple products here. I'll start off with a metal good. A lot of this was growth. Again, as I mentioned, I think coming out of school, there's so much that I didn't know that, again, the couple of years that I kind of played around in different industries really helped me to understand more about the different products that we utilize. And that has allowed me to play across kind of the gamut of hard goods and soft goods that I currently do. So this is the first product I'm going to show you. This is called the RC Grapple. So this is a grapple hook. And the whole idea of this is arborists that are in the tree, they're in one tree and they have to get to the other tree. Well, how do you get over there once you're up in that tree? So they take this is carried on their harness. We have a little loop here that they can connect to a gear loop. They remove it, they attach it to the tag line, the tail end of their rope, They'll take it and they throw it over in the tree. It comes over. This is a weighted hook here, so it will always orient down.
Yeah.
And then it comes over the branch, and they've now locked on, and they will pull themselves over to the other branch. So there was nothing like this in the industry. People were continually saying that they had an issue with, again, transferring from one tree to the other, climbing around within the canopy. How can we resolve that? Some people were using like a little 3-pronged grapple hook that you could buy from your, everyday carry emergency kit store and stuff like that, military surplus. It just wasn't serving the right purpose. It was either really big or it was marring the tree. And so we came up with this solution here. And some of the simplicity within the design of it was not only just the smooth kind of ergonomics of it. We had multiple different design styles that I worked through with their team here. And as we proposed different designs, this was the one that we came up with that was the most compelling. One of the biggest things for us was manufacturability with everything we do. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from going from school to, the real world is just the manufacturability of a product, which is going to drive the cost down. So we looked at ways to make this. This is basically just 4 pieces. So you have 2 side plates. You have this primary spine here, which is just a spacer, and that keeps the weight down. And then you have this kind of heavy monogamous hook here, and that's it. And these are wedged together, and this is just friction fit with 2 rivets to allow this to open and close. We were looking at ways to having this captured by your carabiner in this orientation, but then we had to have a lock in place. And I decided if we just flop this over in the other direction, and no matter how this is carried on your body, gravity is keeping this down. We're reducing part count, we're reducing assembly time, and we're going to make this cheaper. And that's what we came up with here. So this is just a little something that we kind of whipped up and ran through the ideation process, came up with a couple designs, sent it out into the field. There's no certifications on it, so it was fast to launch, and it was just a win. And we're selling bucket loads of these.
That's incredible. Yeah. And it's a really simple and elegant design. And I love that the solution to one of the problems was not add another piece, but literally remove something, remove material, and that ends up solving your problem. That's a great example and a good case study too of problem solving.
That's really what we're trying to do is problem solve and make it cheaper. I'll take the fluff out, and that's really what it is at the end of the day. How can we solve the problems that the consumer has asked for, and can we make it cheaper? And how do we come to that conclusion? A product that we just launched 2 weeks ago is this. This is called the Jet Step 2.
Yeah.
So this goes on your foot. This is a HMPE sling that attaches around your foot. We have 2 cams up here on the top. And what these do is this attaches to a rope. And as you climb, I'll grab a rope right now and I'll show you. You have a rope here. You put the rope into the device. And you are now on rope. And this will slide up the rope. And then as you stand up, it grabs it. So it's a toothed cam. And it allows you to climb the rope as you would like a ladder. By just using this foot ascender here. So the unique thing about this device is that we currently had one in the market called the Jet Step 1. This was my first time innovating on a product that we're currently already selling, which is something that we try to do every 5 years. We want to never let the marketplace stagnate with our product and to always look at making it faster, better, stronger. So how can we do that? With this device right here, the original one was a lot taller, it was a lot wider, and it was a little more cumbersome. So we wanted to, again, make it smaller, more compact, which is going to be a win. It's not pushing onto your foot, into your heel and your ankle bone. This did have a tendency to kick out of the rope. So as you're climbing up, the rope would pop out of the cams. And so we wanted to resolve that, or at least make it better than what we had in the original one. So we were able to do that by, on these 2 cams here, we call them angel wings, and they're kind of hard to see, but they're these kind of flat discs on the outside. And what those do is they basically act as a fair lead to keep the rope in track with the cams. So as you're climbing, it's not going to pop out the front here. We have this fair lead on the top, and what this does is this simply keeps the rope to track down. So when you're coming out of side, it's going to come in and go straight down through the cams.
Yeah.
On our original design, we still had a fair lead on the top, but we did not have any sort of closure. And this wire gate up here keeps you from tripping on your pants, which was the biggest problem that we had. Everyone complained about our previous design because they would shred their pants on the fair lead. Let's solve that. How do we make this better? Let's stop ripping people's pants. The chainsaw pants that they're wearing are $400 to $500 a pair, and they are shredding them. And our product is doing it. So how do we make that better? So we basically compiled all of these, different problems and went down through the list and tried to solve them. This strap was never replaceable until the JetStep 2.0. This product is $150. This strap would wear out and they would have to replace the entire product every 2 years. So if we can get a longer life expectancy out of the product just by making the strap replaceable, let's go ahead and do it.
What can your day-to-day look like? Are you always in the office? Are you always in front of your computer? Are you talking with people? Are you out on site? What can it look like for you?
This to me is the biggest reason I would love all industrial designers going into school and out of it to expand your job search. Right here is the day-to-day. My day-to-day, so my title is I am Senior Product Development Engineer. I'm not an engineer. I have a bachelor's of arts. I get to play engineer at work, engineer. We do everything from conceptualization through to production, and I love it. So the way we're structured is we have product managers, and their goal is to look at the next 5 years. What is happening from here on out in the industry? What are they listening to at trade shows, listening to the sales team? These are the products that we need to make. They will then build out a charter. They will say, this is what we want. These are the standards, if there are any, that we need to follow for certifications, so on and so forth. And these are the the product requirements outside of that that would dictate the product. Again, it's usually a very loose kind of wireframe of the product. No idea what it may look like. If there's something out in the industry that would be similar to it, they can reference that. And then we take it on as the development team to research this and to deep dive. So I may be researching and deep diving a new product for the utility industry. They wear spurs that climb up the tree, and we need to create a new product that's not going to be, spiking into the telephone pole. All right, we got to do a lot of research into that. Then the next day, I may be working on the design and development process for a new harness for the arbor industry. So let's take what we've currently learned from the arbor industry as we've launched our own and expound upon that. So I am sketching and illustrating and working through the hardware that we may need to create. Is there anything off the shelf that we can use from our manufacturing partners? Do we need to tool up our own hardware? Making those decisions and then figuring out what that design and those features should be like. Then we go all the way down to the end of certification, production, and sampling. So as we're deciding what factories to work with, dictating the requirements that we have for them, and then working directly, usually in person, with them to create the samples, whether it's a T1 sample or a T2 sample or a certification sample, run through the tooling, making sure that everything's correct, our tolerances are in place, and really relying on them because a lot of the time they have the experience for a product that we may be new to the industry on, and they've been dealing with it for 30 years. So working with them on that relationship, and then going through and working with the marketing team and the sales team to create the materials that we need for launch as we go through our launch seasons. And then at the very end, then we go through that actual launch and we are a part of that and we get to launch it internally and then say, sales team, go sell.
And how many of these do you try to do a year?
The product development life cycle should be 18 to 24 months. That's what my boss says. Realistically, it's 24 to 36.
Okay.
A lot of the time, if we're doing certification or standards or anything along those lines, that's minimum 6 months of just twiddling our thumbs, waiting for them to test it, certify it, give us a thumbs up, and then we can go to tooling.
So they keep you busy. And is it that when you get bored with one, you get to move on to another, so long as you continue to make progress? Or do you have certain benchmarks within each project where you have to hit that before you can move on to moving to the walkie-talkie, for instance?
Design and development is fluid, right? There comes a point when I may be blocked on something, whether it's, I am having an issue moving past a certain thing. Let's move on to something else and I'll come back to it. As long as we're not missing the end date that we have specified for launch, that's the harder one to kind of push back. We really want to do that. Everything within the process, how we make the sausage is kind of up for grabs. We have our standard operating procedure and how we do things, and within that, it's very fluid and allows us to work through the development process in a way that's best suited for each individual. Just because the way I design something does not mean that my coworker is going to design the same thing or even something similar that way. They could go completely different. And that allows us to just kind of work a little faster based off from our preferences.
What are some things that you've gotten to learn since graduating, now that you're in the working world?
There's so many. I think one, understanding that at the end of the day, it's a job, right? Especially when I first came out of school, is like, I want to be VP level of design and development. And those goals necessarily haven't disappeared, but they've changed. I think a lot of that, I have kids now, so like that definitely plays into it. But I think there are other things in life outside of your job. And I think that that's something that not everyone, but for me, I really kind of hyper fixated on when I first got out of school. Is like, my job is my life, and that's not true. So like, first and foremost, like, if you're just take a breath, it's going to be fine. It's a job. Secondly, I think, again, don't be hyper fixated on something that says industrial designer in the title or something like that. If anyone ever comes to me and says, hey, I'm an industrial designer, I'm looking for jobs, there's not a lot out there, I say, broaden that scope. Look for design engineers specifically, engineer, and then you start to look at the actual description of the job underneath it. They're wanting industrial design and they don't know it. And you have that opportunity to come in and to just blow their socks off.
Yeah.
That is something that I think we as an industrial design community have an opportunity to, because a lot of people still aren't really sure what industrial design is. And you can go to a company, again, that is hiring a design engineer and absolutely blow their doors off with what you can do. And they never realized that your skill sets were available in the market.
We really try to push our students to not restrict their search to just industrial design, but also not discount themselves from job listings that they see. If they see a certain skill set, like say someone is looking for an engineer and they say you must be really proficient in AutoCAD or proficient in or expert in SolidWorks. And some of our students are like, but I'm not at that level yet. Stop. It doesn't matter. Go for it. Apply anyway. Let them tell you that you're not qualified.
It's a wish list.
It is a wish list. Yes. Yeah. So broaden the scope and don't discount yourself. Don't hold back on something that could be really good. And to your earlier point, if it's not your dream job, that's okay. Yeah. Try anyway, because you never know. You're going to learn something in a year, in 3 years, 5 years, and then you can apply that to wherever's next. So don't count yourself out from all of these great opportunities because it doesn't quite fit your dream or your idea of what an industrial design job is.
It's a corporate ladder, right?
Yeah.
There are steps to this, and whether you like it or not, just take a step, try it out. If you don't like it, you can go back down, or you can go to a different ladder. Like, that is okay.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about some of the software or really some of the tools that you use in your process.
Yeah, so we utilize the primary suites that we've always utilized. SolidWorks for our 3D CAD work. We use the Adobe suite for a lot of the other stuff. So all of our hardware is done in SolidWorks. It's
Hmm.
kind of the most synonymous one. All of our soft goods are done in Adobe Suite just because it's easier to design that way. So all harness tech packs are built out in that. And then again, yeah, the 3D software for all of our hard goods. Outside of that, Excel,
Okay. Yep.
it's you
Yeah.
know what? Um, I know a lot more about Excel now than I did 7 years ago. I don't know if I'm better for it, but yeah, you deal with Excel a lot. Again, especially as I do more in the process rather than just I'm the designer, I hand it off to an engineer.
Yeah.
I have to know the numbers, right?
Yep.
So if it's not going to be as cost effective, we may kill the project. And I love that. I love the fact that we're never just going to launch something just because we've already invested in it, right? If we recognize that after we got our tooling costs back, we're $30 above FOB. Like our
Hmm.
margins are going to be shot. There's no chance. All right, we're going to table this for a while. Maybe we'll come back to it, but it's just not worthwhile.
If a student doesn't feel confident in their Excel skills right now, should they be worried?
No, don't worry about it. That's not something that I think anyone requires. It's a nice to know. It's great
Yeah.
to understand how to open it and just to like see a number or what's the sum of this column.
Hmm.
That's great. You can even learn that at the job, which I think is another thing going into it is we touched on this slightly. You don't need to be, a subject matter expert at SolidWorks or
Yeah.
InDesign or whatever it is. Every different design firm and company is going to use a different program. At the very least, they're going to use different add-ins for a program. So
Yeah.
it's going to be completely different. And that's fine. You understand the basics, you understand how to model and the
Hmm.
concepts behind it. I think that's the thing that's more important than the specific software.
Yeah.
We've hired people here who have had zero SolidWorks experience, and within the first month, they're already like doing volumetric modeling of, very complex stuff. Like, yeah, I understand the concept, just never used this program.
Yeah. Did you say that you've hired people or you've fired people that had zero experience?
Hired.
Oh, you've hired people that had zero
Correct.
experience. Okay, good. Good to know. If someone were having you review their portfolio, or if you were looking to hire someone, what would you hope to see in their portfolio that tells you or signals to you this kid knows what they're doing, or they know what they're talking about, or they're going to be a good hire?
From my experience, and when we have reviewed portfolios in the past and currently, the biggest thing is to show your reasoning and understand the why of a product. I can't tell you how many times I've seen really cool rendered images and here's a product and why. Well, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
There needs to be valid reason that we're putting budgeted dollars towards a product. And you do need to speak to that to our C-suite, to the board when we present projects, because we get approved by them. We have to make sure that this is a project that they're going to be on board with. When we put budget dollars towards that, hey, it's going to be $70,000 to tool up this product. They want to understand why you're doing it, and a lot of the time they're not looking, they don't care about a pretty picture. They don't necessarily, they do not care about what it looks like. They just want to know that the feature sets are going to be sellable.
Hmm.
So for me, if you can explain through your design process the solutions to the problems, I will take that 10 out of 10 over pretty pictures, especially in today's environment where it's so easy to make a fluffed up portfolio with, AI renderings and everything. Honestly, something that's more down to earth, again, personally, is much more appealing because you're looking at it from a design problem rather than a polished picture.
Hmm. Speaking of polished pictures, AI is making pictures real polished these days. Has AI infiltrated your workflow? Are you seeing it affect your industry yet?
I use AI a lot, but a lot of it is for cross-referencing, for checking things,
Yeah.
for as silly as it is, rewriting my email that I came across as too accusatory, and how
Yeah.
do I soften the blow? Um, Things like that. We have AI in our ERP, so that's our system that we run our company for our sales. Everything is laced through with AI. For design, we use it a lot to navigate patents.
Hmm.
So that has always been a difficult thing, and we use patent attorneys to run through. We have a bunch of patents. I'm thankful that my boss loves to spend money on patents and to lock everything down that we can.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times it's like, all right, there's another company that has a patent out there. How do we navigate around that? What would that be? And so AI has been a really great tool to give us that first blush at what are we looking at and how can we change something, and then we can hand it off to our attorneys for them to say, yeah, this is great, no, you're still infringing, so on and so forth within them. But
That's
that,
interesting. Okay,
yeah,
so you've mentioned a couple of AI tools that deal mostly with language or strategy. Are you using any of the image generation AI features?
not as much. We quickly move from kind of visual illustrations into physical models fast. Again, I work with the board and they are not designers, and I think that was again one of the biggest struggles coming out of school is I sketch these cool pictures and show someone and they go, it's all weird though, it's not right, and it just couldn't get it past their head.
Yeah.
And that's, it's the CFO and all, he's used to Excel, so
Yeah.
how do I show them and clearly explain to them what I'm trying to create? So internally on our team, we'll do like rapid reviews where like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And literally just showing them like a picture that we created. Love it. Let's move to this. As soon as we can get into a physical prototype for us, that speaks volumes. The biggest thing for us is to get the user feedback and to get testing.
Hmm.
So if we can get people on the product, in the product, playing with it as fast as we can, we can get a much better understanding of it. We ourselves cannot be the subject matter experts because we have so many different fields and disciplines that we work within, and we have to heavily rely upon the subject matter experts that we are using as testers to
Hmm.
give us that critical feedback that we need.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Love that. I have one more question. You've already dropped some really great insights for our current students, for future students. Is there any other wisdom that you'd like to offer these people?
I mean, I think, you know, as Jim Stevenson put, reiterate multiple times to hopefully make something stick. So
Yeah.
don't fret the small stuff. Like it's fine. That was my biggest thing coming out of school was like the world. Now what? Up until that point, for legitimately 21 years, you've been guided in a path. You've chosen this path, and Gabe and all these people are instructing you on it. You don't really have that anymore. And it's like, what's next? How do I do this? Don't worry about it. I think just coming out of school, there's a lot to learn. You will fail and you will fail a lot, and that's okay. It's how you get back up from that is really what makes the difference. And then again, everything is a stepping stone. It's a ladder. You can switch ladders if you want to. You can down climb if you want to. That's okay as well. Success isn't defined by your job. That's, just that's the world pushing that on you. And have fun with what you do. You are a designer, you are creating, you're doing something that, the creator has always done, and we get to emulate that, and that's super cool. So to have that ability and to have fine-tuned that for the last 4 years, and now you're going to go out into the world and do that, just have fun with it. Be relaxed. No one wants a stuffy designer, pushing stuff down their throat.
We all could benefit from that reminder every once in a while. Well, Micah, this has been great. It's been great to chat, to catch up. If someone is wanting to see more of your work, or if they're really interested in any vertical gear, where might they be able to see some of this stuff?
Cool. Yeah, so my stuff, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm average at posting, so you can go search me on there and you can see some of the stuff. I try to post some of the some more fun stuff that we launch. We're launching every quarter, so 4 times a year we launch products. You can go to any of our subsidiary brands, Notch, Sterling Rope, Yates Gear, Malta Dynamics, or one of our larger e-commerce sites like Cheryl Tree. Or just, connect with me if you have any questions, you want to chat about stuff. As you can tell, I love to talk. So talking about product, talking about shop is fun. Or if you just want to go for a mountain bike ride, let me know.
I love it. And so they need to meet you up in Maine to mountain bike.
Yeah, at this point, I'll meet anyone anywhere. I'm down.
All right. I love it. Sounds good. Well, Micah, again, so great to chat with you again. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, appreciate it.